Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowering the Conscious Business Evolution Talk with me, Antonina Manev, for some fresh, thought-provoking and liberating conversations about inspiring the sparks of innovation and evolution, and growing a bigger and a wider world of ethically successful and consciously evolving business environment. For those who tune in for the first time, I'm the founder of Visions Inspire Strategic Business Growth Consultancy. As a business strategist, my focus is on turning visions into profitable businesses, be it for startups or established businesses. So in my area of work, evolving the business consciousness is a key element. You can find out more about my inspiring work by visiting the website www.visionsinspire.com. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel or like my Facebook page or connect on LinkedIn with me. Business owners work with me, looking to increase usually their business cash flow and profits and create a secure financial future so they fully enjoy a greater lifestyle and balance. However, along the way, the main obstacle appears to be the uncomfortable mindset of conformity, which accepts limitations in business making and development, or even growing in order to fit in an old custom conventional framework of business making that holds them back, and all that at the expense of their true identity. But how we even start to break up these frames? Well, we'll have to try. In my interviews, video or audio, I will be introducing you to exceptional business leaders, owners, and creators who have reached great success in what they do, not because they worked hard to fit in, but by challenging the status quo and constantly innovating themselves and their businesses, by searching back to their authentic roots to follow the person-business environment connection, and by taking approaches of consciously evolving to align with a higher social and earth value through their creativity, identity, and co-creative forward thinking. So be prepared, all my guests have left valuable tips and inspirational words of wisdom for you to take and do your best to outshine the conventional and grow yourself and business aligned with higher values. All their interviews are playing on the Visions Inspire YouTube podcast channel. Happy listening and happy learning and growing. Hello everyone, and welcome to another beautiful show with Empowering the Conscious Business Evolution. Presenting today a beautiful and gorgeous guest, Regina Brancato-Dunderdale. She's the founder of Regina Hypnotherapy, who is classed as a top expert in her field. Currently doing some very inspirational and special work actually in Brazil. So welcome, Regina, to Empowering the Conscious Business Evolution all the way from Brazil. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
What is the weather in Brazil right now?
It's summer, so it's very, very hot and humid. And it's a very funny period because Christmas in Brazil is very European. So we simulate snow at 40 degrees. It's the Santa Grotto is European. So Santa is wearing heavy, the clothes and the fur and the beard and sweating because it's very hot. But it is beautiful. Anyway, I love the lights. But this year is going to be a bit subdued because of COVID.
Because of COVID. I would love to come to Brazil. Brazil. And I'm sure that one day you will take me sightseeing there. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I couldn't wait for our interview today because I have so many questions to ask you. I just want to go deep and delve deep into your speciality and you being the expert in hypnotherapy, NLP, timeline therapy. Thank you. My knowledge is so minuscule about all this, so I can't wait to ask you all these things that affect us at the moment. How do you help people overcome these? But steady, Antonina. Right, okay, let's start with about you. How did you come to do what you do, and what fascinates you to do what you do?
I started off as a teacher in Brazil, adult education, and I had to do a bit of psychology to understand how to teach adults, completely different from teaching children. So I studied 2 years of psychology. I don't have a degree. It's just an idea of how to communicate. I do have a degree in literature and linguistics, though. So it's all about communicating and getting the message across. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a philologist.
Yeah. Look at the eye on the students and listen. Listen to what they have to say, because, okay, they are learning, but that you learn with them as well. And the way you adapt your language so your message gets across. So one of the principles of NLP is that the responsibility for communication lies with the person doing the communication. So if I don't express myself so everybody can understand, I failed, because it is my responsibility to do my best to get the message across. And that to me involves a lot of flexibility and listening, and not put on my high heels and say, I am the teacher, I know everything, you don't know anything. It's not true. It's different experience, different backgrounds. So it is, to me, is an exchange. And I do the same with my clients. Okay, I have the knowledge and an idea of how to solve, but it has to be trust and communication, because if they don't tell me, I can't guess. So, and I listen and I respect the way they see the world, because we all have different ideas of our reality. So reality.
What was that supposition in NLP? The map is
not the territory.
Territory.
Yeah.
I do remember something.
Yeah, the map is not the territory. No, because you navigate, I did some workshops on neuroscience, applied neuroscience, not. And what stayed with me was that the human brain is designed to adapt and learn. Unless you have serious neurological damage, you adapt and you learn. But we do it in different ways. So when we have the information, we use our 5 senses to interpret the world. And when we look at it again, my view is different from yours, because then there is the background, our values, our beliefs. It's completely different. And also our circumstances are different. So my now moment is different from yours. So reality, I think my reality is different from yours. And the way we see the world. And you need to respect that. And the problem is when you don't get respected because you are different. Different does not mean wrong. It means different. And that's when you move from country to country, there is the culture shock, because you need to adapt, or some people can't adapt to the new reality. And that can cause conflict. Or when you feel the need to become somebody else to please everybody.
The people pleasers, they call them.
Pleaser. Yeah.
Yeah.
To avoid conflict. But when you understand that we all see the world through different eyes, there is no conflict. It's just different.
Yeah. but I've always seen the people pleasers as a technique those people use to survive, as a survival technique for them.
Yeah.
It's an automated response for them to survive, to you know, whatever the moment or the conflict or whatever they go through. So I've always knew, I've never felt angry or aggressive towards those people, because being a natural empath allowed me to try to see and feel the world from their eyes since I was little, and it's a natural kind of thing for me. But of course it can be painful sometimes when you can't, when you're young and you cannot put the barrier, you know, and distance yourself from this. It's fascinating.
You see, this piece of information that the human brain adapts and learns, and we do it in different ways. It literally has changed my life, because then when you really get it and live your life with that in mind, it eliminates judgment. If you don't need to like anything, but you need to respect it.
But then
and
it is very
course,
sorry.
I moved not only countries, but I moved continents. I left South America, I went to Africa, then I left Africa, went to Europe, completely different. And the way, if we allow, we adapt, and very quickly, unless you put up barriers, that's when the problem starts, in my opinion.
It must have been very difficult, you know, to have all that knowledge and understanding, and yet see the world, what the world is doing, and especially in the male dominated professions and culture, because I believe that it is just now that we are coming out of the culture, the male kind of dominated culture. Maybe it is the universe, maybe it is the energy, the cosmic energy and all this, I don't know, but it must have been very, very difficult for you to establish yourself as a conductor and helper to those emotions and feelings, and within the people in the world of man, if you like. I know we shouldn't talk about men and the women, but it is what it is.
It is still like this, especially in Brazil. It's getting better in the big cities, the big centers. Women workforce is increasing, and I know it is, but it shouldn't stop women to feel proud about what they're doing. And this is how I can help them. When they feel intimidated, when they say, I want the dialogue to go from, oh my God, I'm the only woman in a room full of men, to I've made it, I'm proud of my achievements, here I am, I have a voice, and I will use my voice, not in an aggressive way, but I have a lot of things to contribute, and this is me. This is what I want to happen, the shift, that we can thrive alongside men. And today I had a wonderful surprise on LinkedIn. I got a private message from a guy who said that he wants to empower women. It's, because we are not the enemy. We need to work together.
Yes, I agree.
Wonderful.
But what's wrong with him? What is wrong with him? Immediately comes, what's wrong with him?
Yeah. So there are guys who listen and who are willing to work together instead of separate us, connect us.
Yeah, because we're the same makeup.
We're
the same makeup. It is just men are perceiving or expressing their perceptions in a different way than we women. I used to have those moments when I would stand literally in a boardroom full of men, and I'm the only girl, young woman there. And at some point I was asking myself, what is wrong with me? And the funny thing is that the women flock, the professional women flock, would immediately see me as different. So I wasn't belonging to that group of men.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
belonging to that group of women. I was in the middle, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, what is wrong with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And I think, yeah, absolutely. So that's the shift I want to see. Being proud of our achievements and be working alongside men and not the division, not to create more division.
yeah, and just be human.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
seen. Yeah. Now, in your practice, in your many years of practice, what is the age range of the people who reach out to you?
It's funny because I'm not young anymore, but mostly women, but also men who came to me are between the ages of 35 to 45. Sometimes younger. I don't work with children. I think I don't have the communication skills to work with children. But late teens, early 20s, I've had clients, and this bracket, 35 to 45, corporate people or solopreneurs.
So this is a very interesting group. So what sort of baggage they come?
Well, the women at these groups, they are other parents, and now they struggle to juggle motherhood and the work, and there is a little bit of guilt because they are leaving the family, and the limiting belief that they cannot think, because obviously the first the priority naturally is the family, but they love their job as well. So they feel, when they go to work, they feel guilty because the children are at home or at school, or when they are at school, they get bored and frustrated because they love what they do. So and when you create a conflict within yourself, and you know very well that we do not like conflict, especially internal conflict, and we literally create a part within ourselves when we are conflicted. So these women, a part of them wanted to be mothers, the other part wanted to be career women, and that's the conflict. So they need to conciliate both to become whole. Because otherwise it's an internal war, an internal struggle. And it is, and when they did that, they succeeded. It's incredible, because they can, of course we can do both.
Yeah, and not feel guilty.
And also, this is from their part, trust the father, because it is the father. The fathers want to be part of their children's life, and in some cultures, especially Latin. By Latin, I mean my own country. It's all with the mother. But nowadays, the father is more present and want to be present and look after their children. So I think it is changing. This pandemic, it was horrible, but it was also interesting in the beginning of the change, because they had to work from home. A lot of people had to work from home and share, the housework and the children. It's incredible.
And the space and the noise and everything.
Yeah. And allow women to fulfill their dreams. You can have a career and children at the same time, but also allow women to choose not to have children, or to focus on the career, or only focus on the family. There is nothing wrong with these choices. They are choices.
So the people, that bracket, what are the issues? The anxiety, the limiting beliefs you mentioned. Imposter.
Stress.
So how these people have created all these issues with them?
Well, sometimes it is perhaps a male dominant environment, which is still exists. their own insecurities or pressure, peer pressure. You'll never get the job, you're the only woman there, other people telling them, or you have to work as hard, you know, to make it in a man's world. And that creates the limits. When you have all these thoughts in your mind, it limits your experience of what's going on around you. And then some of them had the need to behave. That's what they told me. I have to behave like a man. We don't know how to behave like men. We're not men.
No.
So this thing of shouting and being aggressive, it's not a man's behavior. It's, you know, it's an assumption. And when you assume something, it's, I'm not going to say 100%, but 90% is wrong. When you start assuming and judging and all that. That's also an NLP thing. Do not assume. You need to ask the person. If you have a doubt, ask. And it has to come from the person you have the doubt.
Yes.
So if I don't know anything about you, I ask you. I'm not going to ask your neighbors or even your friends. I should come to you and ask you your opinion or everything, because then I know it came from you, even if I don't agree with it. It is incredible when they get it. And of course, it's not a one-off, is it, Antonina? You know, life happens again. So coming to me, working with me, and then, okay, go out in the world, but life happens. You need to be aware of what's going on with your feelings, and do not deny your feelings, your emotions.
So when you work with them, how deep do you go to unravel when that creation happened and all this? How deep, how far do you go?
As far as I need to, or as far as they need to. That's why there has to be a lot of trust, because everything I do, all the techniques you go with, it's you work with your unconscious and conscious mind at the same time. And so for you to go deep, you need to trust in yourself and in me to answer with your intuition, with the first thing that comes to mind, instead of starting to look for why is the conscious mind. But your conscious mind is not the enemy. You need both. So when I ask questions, I want one word or a very simple sentence, and that's it. Because when you start asking yourself why, you get lost and you lose the root cause, because then it becomes so big. So what was the original problem? A very small one, it becomes huge because of the why, and then you start catastrophizing. I tell my clients, shrink your sentences. When you think about yourself, I am parara, I am good enough, I am intelligent, I am clever. Very short sentences. Or if they have a problem, I am rubbish, I will fail, but short sentence. So we go deep into those sentences. Because when you start saying, I am good, but you get lost.
Okay, so all these people, not those people, all us people, because we all have imperfections, we all have limiting beliefs, we all have constricting, our filters were created in one way or another, the wrong way, the right way, or whatever, have come. All these, I'm going to classify them as damages, because they are damages, because we are born perfect, but then in the course of our first 7 years of life, then the next 15 years, all these damages are created and then reconfirmed and reconfirmed and reconfirmed. So we end up with adults within that age group who suddenly realize and become aware, I want to fight this.
Yeah.
I want to get over this. But there are
Yeah.
so many people who are not even aware. They just act autopilot, and
Yeah.
they are not aware of any of it. But my
Yeah.
point here is, it is like a cancer. Let's say we are curing the end result, but actually
Yeah,
the cause is created in the first 7 years of
Yeah.
a childhood. So as conscientious and conscious creatures, now that we are more aware of all these, we need to educate ourselves better, so that we do not create those damages to our perfect babies that come to that world with all the necessary senses to process.
You are right, but sometimes, you know, that I would go as far as I would go from the age of 0 to 5. I would go from the time that the child
Yes,
starts
the timeline therapy. That's a
age to 5.
that is a very
And sometimes it's something that we picked up when we were children, and some of my clients, when they realize, and they said, what they say to me, what was all the fuss about nothing? But when they were that age, it was a big deal. So perhaps something they hear or they heard, and they made a meaning, a negative meaning, and it wasn't anybody's fault. So I don't blame parents. I don't blame in most cases.
You're right. Yes, you're right. It is,
as an adult, you are talking to another adult. The child is there. When we think that the child was oblivious to anything, but no, they were not oblivious. They were listening.
No.
And then they got it wrong.
They're so damaging, children, when they're passive listeners, and then their reactions. I've been in a situation when my daughter, I was having a coffee with a colleague of mine, and apparently my daughter, being age 5 and very truthful to anything, she overheard the conversation between me and my husband about that specific person, and she was sitting next to me, my daughter. She's having cake, I'm having coffee, and suddenly she pokes me and she says, Mom, is that the lady you and Dad was saying that she was this and this and this and this and all the horrible things, and I said, no. And then she sits quiet, but then she thinks, and then she pokes me and she says, Mom, that's the lady. I know now.
But let me give an example. I gave a talk on fear, and I used my own example that I grew up with fear. And I grew up with fear because I grew up during the dictatorship in Brazil. And I was very young when it started. I was 7 years old. So the fear was not mine. It was everybody else's fear. So I lived in a household, and I could sense fear. You know, because of the political situation. But what did I know about political situation? So it took me 10 years to understand my fear. That's when I went to university, and then things became clearer. And many more years to get rid of it. And everything I did stemmed from that fear. And my parents had nothing to do with it. Of course, explaining to me what a coup d'etat was. I thought, what? But little things that, you know, happened, like my father getting late from work, that was in the 60s, no mobile phone, and everybody was worried.
Oh, yes.
And then, you know, every time he was late, I was scared.
I totally sympathize with that, because I went through these, the late ages of socialist Bulgaria.
Yeah. So the point here is, as children, we make the meaning. So I lived with this fear for many, many years, and it stemmed from all those days during the dictatorship where we had to be careful with money. So it took years to have a good relationship with money, because the inflation rate in Brazil was huge, 36% a month inflation rate. So it was always, I don't have money. With money, we need to be careful with money. I was scared of money, but not on purpose. It's because of everything external. So this is something that I insist in all the public speaking that I do. Be careful if you're buying into people's fear, or if the fear is your fear. If your circumstances give you reason to be fearful. And I see nowadays this pandemic, okay, be aware, be careful, do your best, but to get paranoid and not getting out of the house.
It is very true. Now that you're talking about the pandemic, before the lockdown, we used to call normal all old ways of consumerism, business creation, and interaction. Everything we used to call normal, and we used to accept it. Although there was that feeling of we had enough, or things must change, but it was just in the air. During the past couple of years, since COVID, people rituals, routines, habits, emotions, social and business structures were deeply disrupted on many levels. So what different do you see comparing those two? I'm going to call them eras, because they are eras.
I think in a way, people were, because we were on lockdown and restricted, there weren't many distractions. And then you see more anxiety, and you see a lot of things because people allow themselves to feel, with minus the distraction. I'm not saying everybody, but most people tend to ignore the emotions. Oh, it's nothing. If you are feeling, it is something. Don't ignore it. And when you are in lockdown at home, those things came out. And the anxiety, uncertainty, because the fear, obviously, we didn't know what was going on. But then talking to some people, they recognized that it was much deeper than they thought it was. And then when they became my clients, then we really dug deep, and they found the origin in the age of 0 to 5 or 6, something that they picked up out of nowhere, and they carried it till now. It's incredible. They looked at me and they say, "Oh my God, yeah," but it happens. So we need to be aware. We need to feel the emotions. It's not nice to be angry or frustrated or feel sad, but they are there for a reason. It's because we are humans. And the idea is you feel them, acknowledge them, and then let go. If you can't let go, that's what I'm here for. Because if somebody upsets you, Antonina, you will be upset. You will be angry. And then you let go. Okay, happened. You deal with it. You talk to the person. And that's it.
Yeah.
But to keep this bottled up,
it's not one healthy.
Day, it's like a bottle of champagne, isn't it? When you open champagne, it will pop.
And especially if you shake it before that.
Yeah, exactly. So tiny little thing, frustrations. I tell my clients, one day, a week or a month, put it on your diary, the complaining day. Take the day just to moan and complain and get it out of your system, and then move on. Because the problem is when you wake up angry or sad or fearful, because you can't deny these emotions. They are there.
Okay. It is just from the top of my head. So if we go to doctors, we go to doctors to get examined, to have blood tests, to check our blood pressure and all this. What would be the most valid test to tell us I need Regina hypnotherapy or a similar specialist, any other specialist? But what would be the simplest thing that you can tell people, okay, if you recognize this, there is a deeper work to be done.
Let me tell you something. You know, when you're feeling a bit feverish, for example, when you think you're coming down with something, the first thing you do, if you're feeling a bit hot, if you think your temperature is going up, you get a thermometer and you check. And if it is higher than your natural temperature, you immediately take aspirin or you see a doctor. I believe, or I like to think, that we have an internal thermometer that measures the temperature of our emotions. So mine is in the top of my stomach, and I feel the butterfly, my thermometer here. Some people feel in the chest, pain in the chest. So when I'm upset, I feel tight, like a knot in my stomach. And when I'm happy, there are butterflies. So I pay attention to that and see if it is my normal or above the normal. For example, the other day I had no internet here, so a little bit of frustration.
Oh, yes.
And then normal. So this is what happens with the emotion. They come and they go. They should come and go, and you become neutral.
But they come through our body, and if we know how to read the signals, we can find we can counteract in a way. But then we need to learn to know the triggers, so that we counteract the triggers at the very beginning of it, so that we don't experience the emotions and then the automated responses.
Exactly. So the problem with that, most people tend to ignore the emotional pain. The physical pain is easy to react. It's either aspirin or the doctor, and you tell people. You tell everybody, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to the doctor. You tell everybody. You don't mind telling this to people. If you miss a day at work, you don't mind sharing, I was not well. But the emotional pain, there is this stigma of, for most people, of not saying anything. And the way you recognize where you feel your emotions is to think about something happy. Get a pleasant memory and see how you feel. You're already smiling. The minute I said, I mentioned, and how in your body, where in your body you felt it?
Chest, I feel it here. I feel it here, well, and my breathing becomes deeper, and and my shoulders relax. And
exactly. So these are things. So the shoulders. So if you notice you are like that, you are tense, perhaps. Be curious about it. What's going on? How can I change this? And who can help me? You don't have to do it on your own. Even talking to a friend helps. You don't have to.
Today, I had a conversation today with a friend of mine, and she's experiencing anxiety because the relationship at her workplace. Really, I have no idea how relationships like this can exist in this day. In this day and age, but anyway, they do exist. So she experienced anxiety, and immediately the response to the GP is go and have medication or
tablets.
Yes, go and have tablets. And I said to her, look, try anything else but medication, because there are so many ways. So I just can't stop hearing and the calls for help for people with anxiety, very deep anxieties, because there are different anxieties. Actually, as I speak, my neighbor has a bungalow at the top of their garden, and she is a therapist, and she deals with children with anxiety.
With anxiety,
yes, but it is a huge thing. It is a huge thing. So what are the best ways for people to, you know, from the moment that you experience it, someone tells you this is diagnosed as anxiety, and then making the decision to go and find a specialist who would help you?
Yes, I agree. I think it is a choice. Some people prefer the tablets, and I'm not a doctor. I can't say anything about medication. There are, well, I know there are other ways. Ideally is to face the problem head on. And I know when it comes to jobs, it's very hard because you need to make a living.
Yes.
But also know that the anxiety to be severe, it has a root cause in the age of 0 to 5. So we need to go to the root cause of that anxiety, and then once you take the root cause, it's like a string of pearls. If I break one, if I take one, the others will follow. It's called the Gestalt therapy. I don't do Gestalt therapy. I don't do the Gestalt therapy, but when you take the root cause, all the other things will disappear. So because, we are all a bit anxious, especially now with the new variant. So you thought, or you think, or you hope you're going to have Christmas, and now you don't know. There is a little bit of anxiety, which is a natural emotion. But when it's severe, there is a root cause. And as adults, we need to learn, or some people need to learn to remove themselves from the environment that it's causing them. So I understand you need to make money because you need to pay your bills, but start looking for another job. Because once you remove yourself. I had a very young client, very young, 23 years old, with anxiety, still on tablets. And it's the peer pressure, anxiety is, I don't have a job. Until we dealt with a lot of other things, he got a job, the anxieties. He doesn't know why he's taking the tablets. But because the tablets are very strong, you need to ask the doctor to, you need to be.
Yes, antidepressants, you can't just stop them. I know the drill. I haven't taken any antidepressants in my life, thanks goodness. It was very hard. I did have very difficult moments in my life, especially when I worked in the corporate world, because of all that environment there and stupid things. But anyway, my other question was going to be, right, when someone comes to you broken and comes out from your room mended, what are the okay, so because I'm using these words, broken and mended, what are the physical contrasts that you have observed from the first session and at the end?
Well, this
describe to me how a mended person looks like and behaves like.
That the way I work, it's that they find, because I don't know the problem, because I don't have the problem. So my fear is different from your fear. So we've experienced similar fear, but the root cause of the fear is different. So as the answer to all my questions come from them, the solution to the problem also comes from them. They feel very powerful because and confident that when life happens again, they know what to do. Obviously, there is all the other therapies and treatments and bypassing the rational mind, but they work together. And they are aware, they become aware of their feelings and their emotions. They don't ignore them anymore. They pay attention. And I give them practical techniques to keep everything calm. And then it's up to them to use it or not.
And to remember, to
and to
use
remember
them.
to be aware and to allow themselves to be upset when they are upset. I had one phone call from a guy who fell in love, I think for the first time in his life, and he was in his 50s when he really fell in love with somebody.
Come on, tell me more. I love love stories.
I mean, it didn't work out. She didn't love him, and she dumped him, and he was desperate. And he called me, and he really didn't know what to do. And he said that he had been married, had divorced, but he admitted he had never felt that love before in his life. And when I asked him how long ago it was a breakup, and he said to me, 4 days. Yeah, because it's something new to him. And I said, you are grieving. You need to grieve. You need to cry because you have reasons to be sad. You fell in love and she left you. It is normal. He didn't think it was natural. So it's also, it's make it real and cry. Anyway, 2 weeks later, he said, I'm feeling better because I cried and I cried and I cried and I'm sad, but I'm allowing myself to be sad because I have reasons to be sad. It's when we fight, then we create this resistance, this conflict. That's when things go wrong. If you have reasons to be sad, be sad. Now, 10 years later and you're still sad, then you come and talk to me because that's not normal. It was incredible. And the first time in his life.
Gosh, it is. I mean, it is an incredible happiness to be able to find love and experience love in your life at least once in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it is, I mean, to end like this, it is so sad.
Exactly. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But he now knows what it feels like. So life will happen and perhaps he'll move on. Well, I think he has moved on. And the thing is, and there is, I've just heard a TED talk, we can control our emotions by allowing them to happen and be curious about them. There is a reason for us to be sad. If there isn't, then be curious. What's going on here? How can I change this? And if you can't, who can help me?
Our society has always told us and taught us to control our emotions and not to that English phrase that you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. So this has been seen as something very bad. Me coming in the UK like 22 years ago, I come from an Eastern European country where the culture is very warm and very compassionate and all this and emotional. It is emotional. Bulgarians just shout like Italians. We shout. Oh God! Oh yes.
I know.
And I was being accused for being too emotional and too enthusiastic and all this. But I think that was wrong to be subjected and to be taught that you shouldn't. You have to control your emotions and not honor them, analyze them, use them.
I think I agree with you. I totally agree with you. We need to allow our emotions. We need to feel. We don't. If you're not the kind of person that wants to show that in public, then at least at home, when you are on your own, then do that. Feel it. And if you find that you can't get rid of it, then you look for somebody. Yeah. But you can't be and you can't be sad for a good reason, for example, or angry or scared and pretend the life is good, because it will sooner or later it will explode, and that's when the problem starts.
Do you want to put the lights on? because it's
Yes,
getting dark. Yeah.
it's getting just, yeah, it's going to rain. It's very dark. It's one of the tropical
Oh, yeah.
rains. It gets dark, it rains an hour, and then that's it. And this is what I tell people: do not be afraid of the emotions and feel. I'm not saying to start shouting and
No. I meant like we can learn to about the balance, because our balance of the emotions, of course, when we express our emotions, they may hurt other people. So we need to be conscious and conscientious about the expressing those emotions within the environment that we are, so that we're respectful. And you know, that's what I understand as in a way educating your emotions, or educating yourself to control your emotions within that scope.
it is, Antonina, it's a choice. So you are, for example, there are things that you can't control. And the example I like to say is that if you're stuck in traffic and
I'm a very angry driver stuck in traffic.
Then there is a choice. You're getting frustrated like everybody else. And if you have to be at a place and you know it's going to be late, you're going to be late. You have a choice. You can be stressed and very angry, or you can start texting, emailing, and calling people and saying, I'm stuck in traffic. And then it's a choice. And you will see that because you took control of your emotions and you took action. Okay, I'm going to be late. I'm going to call this, that, the other, text, email. Nowadays, there is no excuse. You see that the emotions go back to neutral.
Yeah.
So you can't stop them to happen. It is proven scientifically. Now neuroscientists are studying the relationship with the emotions in our brain, and we can control. It's a memory that comes, and we anticipate the emotion, and you can't control that.
I totally agree. Because
also anxiety belongs in the future. You don't get anxious about the present. You get anxious about the future. What's going to happen? What's going to happen in Christmas? And you're already getting a bit anxious. So a practical exercise that I do, and I tell my clients to do it, when you're getting anxious because of what's happening for Christmas, bring it now and do it, the things you do now. Because now you control. So for example, you want to put up a Christmas tree, do it. Because you don't know what's going to happen on the 24th of December. So bring it here, because you know what's going to happen now. We are talking, so I know what's happening now.
That's a good thing. So I have to trick my conscious mind by doing this and giving it, and steal away. Yeah, that's a good thing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so, because today, the way we see time, you know, what time is it in the UK?
At the moment, I don't know it. Oh gosh, it is 10 to 8.
Okay, so in 4 hour time, today will become tomorrow, because at midnight it's already tomorrow. So you can control what you're doing today. And then when today becomes tomorrow, you control the tomorrow.
Okay, speaking about time, where do you see yourself and your career in 10 and 15 years?
Oh gosh. I want to reach more people. So I want to organizing more workshops and to reach more people, and to not to teach, but to make suggestions and give some, like as we are talking now, that there are things we can do, and we can control ourselves and our now moment, and understand that we are all different. We are not the same people. Even if we all wear jeans and t-shirts, the way we wear it is different. We accessorize in our own way, so we look different. We are not the same. And embrace that and live with this, and understand and respect the other person for being different from you. it's really, when you think about, when your mindset is like that, it's to understand that we are all unique. There is no reason to judge. There is no judgment. There is clarity, even if you do not agree with the person. You are very clear in your position. So in 10 years' time, I can't see that far out in the future, but that's what I want to do: organize more workshops and talk to more people,
to make more people aware of the ways they can overcome all these damages and mend themselves.
And control. Do not deny their emotions. Control them.
Because once people are liberated of all this, can you imagine all the beautiful things they can do? Actually, and all that harmony between people, and moving forward and evolving into something better, bigger, that oneness we talk about. It becomes more and more possible and probable. I noticed that you are organizing this masterclass, which is conversation with the unconscious mind. What is that about?
So this is to experience, because there is a lot of the thing going on about trance, and people think, I don't want to bark like a dog, you know, or you're going to control me. It's mind control. And so I want to show those who come that trance is natural. Your unconscious mind can and wants to communicate with you. And the power when you work with both your minds, the unconscious and the conscious mind. And the things you can do. For example, when I ask you to think about a nice memory, you immediately smile. This is power. So if you're feeling upset and you think about something that makes you smile, you smile. And I cannot do it for you. So you have the power and the control to choose. You can choose your thoughts. Thoughts are not random.
So the masterclass actually teaches people to do that.
Yeah, and then they will experience trust.
In a total control.
Yes, and yes, because now even online, my clients are sitting down, and if there is any kind of noise, some of them tell me, I heard the noise, but I was so into the trance that I didn't mind. I didn't move, because there is trust. They trusted their unconscious mind, and they trusted me as well.
So is that masterclass online or?
It is, yes, it is online. Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
It's Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
Yeah, 4th of December. Not so limited places, because I don't, I can't have 50 people. It's otherwise the experience. I want everybody to have this experience. So
how many people is the group that you take on Saturday?
Yeah, maximum of 10. There are some
of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, and how people can
really, pardon?
How people can sign up for it?
It's on LinkedIn or Facebook.
LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah. If they go on my profile, there are videos there and a link. Just explain a little bit what to expect.
Okay.
Yeah. And I thought that the plan is to make into a kind of series conversation.
That will be good.
Of conversation with your unconscious mind. You can talk to your unconscious mind, and you're not crazy. Because children, we used to do when we were children.
Yes, and they used to class us as invisible friends and all this.
Exactly.
But they were very useful. They were very useful because they would help you solve problems. They would help you negotiate things. They would help you feel better about yourself. And that's exactly the subconscious mind, actually, which is your friend, coming up with all the excuses and all the the getaway scenario, so you don't get hurt or you don't get accused or punished.
Absolutely.
So it's beautiful. It's fascinating. We're going towards the closure of our interview, but before we do, let's see globally. What is Regina's vision for the business world, for the way we create and interact in business and in life 10 years from now? What is your idealistic vision?
Okay, I have seen a shift because I see more and more corporate people thinking about or leading with kindness and respect, and this new generation coming, this 20 something leaving university, and they are thinking along the lines as let's be kind, let's lead from the heart in terms of kindness and respect to others. This, I really thought that by my age, things would have gone much further, but still, not really. So if I can help, I want to help. I can't help everybody because some people may not want my help. And this I need to respect.
You know, that's the hardest thing for visionaries like you and me, because we want to see things, the fruits, we want to witness all the movement forward and the state of forwardness, but it is not happening, and it is so painful to watch and to want to for things to move. And I remember like 4 years ago, I would be speaking to people at networking events. You need to strategize. They didn't even know the word strategy. They thought it was a very difficult word to pronounce, and introducing them to new ideas. They wouldn't. And it was so difficult to live in those times, in that era. Regina, would you like to share some wise tips for our listeners?
So I what I do share is every time I either finish a video or my strap line is be kind, be brave, and be yourself.
Be kind, be brave, be yourself.
And be yourself.
That's beautiful.
To you and others. And also remember that everything starts within yourself. Everything is internal, everything starts with you. And when you accept that, then you give it to the other.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
These are beautiful. So what is the best way for people to reach out to you?
Well, it is my website.
Okay, I've got it.
www.reginahypnotherapy.co.uk. LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I can't keep up with all this. And I'm on Twitter, but more LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter.
And every Wednesday, I go live on Facebook at 8 o'clock.
Tell me about that. Wednesday on Facebook.
Live at 8 o'clock p.m.
8 o'clock p.m. So you have to go.
GMT. No, 8 o'clock p.m. GMT, British time.
British time.
Yeah, Greenwich Mean Time. With little, it's short videos, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, with little food for thought.
That's beautiful.
Just little things for you to keep thinking, and bit of suggestions. And my website and the LinkedIn, there are lots of content there. All the videos are there on LinkedIn. Just for you, or YouTube. All my videos are on YouTube as well, just for you to listen and start thinking.
Thank you. Regina, I'm really honored speaking with you.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
No, okay. It is amazing. It is amazing. So much wisdom, so much thought-provoking ideas. And I know that the people listening to you and me, to this, what we created today, They will
Yeah.
take a lot, and I hope that many more people will become more and more aware of how they can mend themselves so that they can get in tune with what is around them and help with empowering the conscious business evolution forward. So, Regina, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
My pleasure.
All the best. All the best to you. Thank you.
Bye.
And that was your inspiration to continue empowering your conscious business evolution today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope our conversations will help you take your own steps toward innovating and evolving as a conscious business by making choices for the benefit of people, communities, and environment. If you have any questions to my guests, I will leave their contact details in the description of this post. If you'd like to come to the show and share your wisdom, you're more than welcome. Please write to me to Antonina at visionsinspire.com. But definitely have a listen to all previous interviews and do subscribe to the Visions Inspire YouTube channel for my next show for more inspiration on being part of our conscious business evolution together. Please give Visions Inspire your like on Facebook and follow on Twitter and Instagram. And do share with others to listen, spread the word, grow the knowledge. That's the spirit of the conscious business evolution. Till next time, from me, Antonina Manev, your business growth strategist, turning visions into profitable businesses, and always here to empower the conscious business evolution. Thank you, and till next time.